Hey, so today's day 14, and we're doing this countdown until Stronghold Digital Mining releases their Q4 2022 results, which will more than likely be packaged along with a 10K that covers all of fiscal year 2022. And perhaps more important than those results that are in the past, we'll get some context and color as to what's going on right now as we approach the very end of Q1 2023. So what's happening today, at least, or right this moment, is that our stock, right, Stronghold Digital Mining stock, closed at 50 cents a share, down about 5%, volume of just over 2 million shares. Now, I did notice that today's high, the intraday high, was like 61 cents. So congratulations to anybody who may have attempted to day trade that earlier in the trading session. As it relates to the energy markets, I always take a very careful look at this throughout the day. As of about right now, and right now is a little after 10 o'clock at night on March 14th, the PJM Penelec portion of the grid, that's where the Scrubgrass power plant is located. Grid prices there are about $35 a megawatt hour. The PJM PPL zone of the grid, that's where the Panther Creek power plant's located. Those grid prices happen to be around $28 and change, almost $29 really. Now, as for Bitcoin itself, the last time I checked, it was just under $25,000 per coin. The network hash rate itself was around 321, which is relatively reasonable, but perhaps most important for our purposes is our Bitcoin priced in dollars per megawatt hour. And as of last check, that was just around $77.61. So if we happen to be importing power from the grid and using that imported electricity to mine Bitcoin, there's certainly a very nice margin there. If it turns out that we're actually utilizing the electricity that's produced by our power plants, right, Scrubgrass and Panther Creek, and assuming that Q1 2023, well, let me rephrase that, assuming that, 2023 guidance as a whole, right, which has our net cost of power hitting anywhere between $45 and $50 a megawatt hour beginning in Q1 2023. So that's right now. Assuming we're actually producing that power ourselves, worst case scenario, hey, maybe we're producing electricity for around $50 a megawatt hour, but if we're using that electricity that we're generating ourselves, we still actually have a very nice margin. If it turns out we're turning around and then using that electricity to power our data centers, which contain, of course, our Bitcoin mining machines, because, of course, the spread between $50, net cost of power and around 77 some odd dollars, Bitcoin priced in dollars per megawatt hour, that's a very comfortable margin. So whatever the case may be, and hopefully we'll get some context and color during our investor presentation as to, the mechanics and sort of the decision making that goes into, deciding, hey, let's just pull all the electricity we can from the grid to power the data centers, or hey, maybe we want to be cautious. Maybe there's going to be a significant spike in power prices, grid prices, that is, during the day, and maybe we want to avoid being hit with that. So let's just stick to primarily using our power plants to generate electricity, because that we have a much more, right, we have more control over what the cost situation will be when we use our own electricity that we create ourselves. Again, these are all interesting mathematical questions, but I think the math by itself doesn't really provide adequate insight as to what's going on, because, there's other considerations as well, as we've discussed before. You can't just turn off a power plant like you're shutting off a light switch, right, and then just turn it right back on, so there are a lot of moving parts to this. So I'm really excited for our investor presentation. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you're looking forward to it as well. Today's day 14. Tomorrow is going to be day 15. The countdown continues. I'll see you then.